Hi, this is a very deep subject to discuss. Only wise people can understand this truth. Higher knowledge to achieve an enlightenment, nirvana. Hope this may help many wise in the world for an achievement of enlightenment, nirvana. Even though you abundance in wealth and comfort, you cannot get away from feeling of being pain, sorrow, unsatisfied. But once you are with higher consciousness, you will enjoy with whatever positions you are. So let us see how to become an enlightened person. This is about reality. If we observe the dead body an animal or a human, we will see how it's decomposed and dissolved. Elements of earth in his body absorb into the earth in an environment. Elements of water in his body absorb into the water in an environment. Elements of heat in his body absorb into an elements of heat in an environment. Elements of air in his body absorb into an elements of air in an environment. In this way, his body dissolves. These abstract elements work by repetition. The three currents of birth, existence, and death present in abstract elements spring into action in rotation and causes the process of repetition of the units of abstract elements. The abstract elements are unit of action or forces that exist by repetition. The speed of the repetition being 17 times slower than the speed of the repetition of the mind, about 176 billion 470 million per the duration of a flash of lightning. Rapid action in relay order is being described in Buddha's explanation of the universe as follows. As the current of birth present in a unit of abstract element causes the initiation of birth of fresh repetition of energy in that unit of abstract element. The current of existence emerges and waits in readiness to take over at the point when the function of the current of birth is complete. On completion of the birth of the repetition, the current of existence take over completely from the current of birth, causing the current of birth to retire to rest and regain strength. The current of existence thus assumes control of the unit of abstract element and forces through its stage, whilst thus carrying through its task, the current of existence expend its strength, and in the meantime the current of death is gain in strength. The point soon arrives for the current of death to take over control from the current of existence, and so it happens. The current of death, thus, set at its work, employs its full force and does its task. But it is so exhausted in the end that it is waiting to retire to rest and regain strength. By this time, the current of birth is gainfully refreshed and is waiting to take over from the current of death, and it does so. So far, it has been discussing about the constitution of four great abstract elements. Now, we understand how the body dissolves. So we should have to concentrate on how it's construct. In the conception of the being, there would be a unit of mind get hold of four great abstract elements: abstract earth, abstract water, abstract heat, and abstract air. The five projective elements emerge: color, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And the three feature elements, birth, existence, and death, appear simultaneously. Environment sense organs occur: heart, eye, ear, nose, and tongue. Extract the four great abstract elements by food and drink and start building. These abstract elements have been there forever and they will be there forever, but what produce out of them will have an end. Just like man and animal have birth and death. Since the four great abstract elements were there without a beginning, we must have been in life endlessly as gods, as humans, as animals, in woo hells, and so on without an end, unless you become an enlightened. How many times we must have been cut for meat in different lives? If we remember the number of times we have been cut for a meat and suffered pain, sorrow, and lamentations, we will never think of life again. As a human being, we have good opportunities to stop. By the time studying the reality of life, if you start mind exercises and develops the mind, you will realize a ultimate blossom of nirvana. Nirvana is safe. Once you realize nirvana, that cleansed mind would never have a birth in a womb again. What you have to do is to practice to live in present. When you are walking, you know how your legs are moving. When you are sitting, you know you are sitting. And whatever you are doing, you do them consciously without repent the past and not brood over the future. 30 minutes breathing exercise also develops your concentration, consciousness. Always you inhale and outhale, but you are not aware. But this time, you cross legs and sit, stay erect. Concentrate on your breathing. Watch how your breath go in and come out. You know how your breath go in and you know how your breath come out. Concentrate on your breathing. As you go on this way, if you have a habit of smoking, one day you will feel that it's bad smell. Since you see things really as they are, you will think cut off unwanted things. And also, if you are taking some intoxicating drinks at night or in the evening, you will feel like to quit because now you have a developed mind, so you don't want to retard that. So, once you wish to get into the path of nirvana, you should have to know the Four Noble Truth, popularly known as Chaturari Satya. Therefore, if you read the book What the Buddha Taught, written by Venerable Valpola Rahula, you can gain the knowledge of Four Noble Truth. And then you should have to know the metaphysics, Buddhist science, that can be gained out of the book Buddha's Explanation of the Universe. These books are available in Buddhist Cultural Center. Once you realize nirvana, you will feel like you have been transformed and you are always living in present happily. May all be achieve nirvana.